Hello everyone. In this video we're going to talk about drawing long wavy hair. So I'm starting with just an HB pencil and I've kind of blocked in the face already. And what I'm going to do to start with the hair is just kind of start blocking in main shapes. We aren't going to see too much of the eye and the eyebrow there. It's more like a shadowy impression, so I'm not going to get super detailed. But I'm just going to start with making kind of outlines of the main forms of the hair, breaking it down into just simple shapes as much as possible so that it doesn't get too complicated. Once I've kind of gotten the main shapes done, then I'm going to go in and start blocking in some of the values that I see in the hair. I'm just going to work sort of one portion at a time. So I'm going to start with the bangs here, and I'm kind of outlining right now where I see the darker values coming in. So I'm just kind of making a shape of that area and lightly filling it in. I'm not necessarily working strand by strand because that will get a bit overwhelming at this point. I'm just figuring out where there are shadows or darker parts of the hair. And I'm working with a plain HB pencil right now. This could be just like your regular writing pencil. I am going to switch later to a 3B to get some darker values. That way I don't have to push so hard with the pencil to get the values that I need. Here I'm starting to darken up some of the shadows that we see alongside the face where the hair overlaps, and that creates a darker shadow. And then with the eyes and eyebrows, again, it's just like a shadow of them. We don't actually see any details because the hair mostly covers it. So I'm pretty much going to be covering that up other than just the impression of an eye. And now you can see I'm working with a 3B pencil to get some of those darker values as I'm going along. I leave spaces for the highlighted areas on the hair, even though I will go in and erase them later to get the highlights back out, but it's a lot easier to erase something when it's not super dark, so I tend to just kind of skip over sections that I know are going to be lighter and just kind of vary the pressure on the pencil to create a variety of tonal ranges. And so you can notice I'm kind of working in chunks. And now I've got a blending stump and I'm just kind of pushing all the values together to create kind of a smoother look with the pencil. You don't have to do this. You can definitely shade all you want with just a regular pencil. And now I'm using my kneaded eraser to bring out highlights in the hair and like individual strands that poke out. So every time I go off the screen, I'm actually reshaping the eraser to get a fresh edge. And now I'm going in with a 4B pencil, so a little bit darker still, and adding in those darker shadows as we go along. I'm going back in again with the blending stump to smooth things out and then bring out highlights again with the kneaded eraser. Basically, when I work with hair, it's kind of just a back and forth between creating shadows and creating highlights and blending. But the main thing is to not get super overwhelmed with the small details. I'm really just working on chunks, so just sections of hair. If I wanted to get hyper realistic, I might just focus in on certain areas and just zoom in on my reference photo or break it down into a grid so that I can just look at one section at a time so as not to get overwhelmed with the whole picture. In this case, I'm just doing kind of a medium level of realism. It's not super scribbly, but it isn't hyper realistic. So it's just all dependent on what you want for your style. So now that I'm working on the other side, again, I'm just kind of breaking in the middle values, the dark values, and the highlights. And I'm just kind of going back and forth again with the pencil, the blending stump, and the eraser. And then as I work through one section of that, then I grab a darker pencil and I start adding in shadows, and then I blend some more. And it's really just kind of a back and forth between all of these things. So at this point, I'm just kind of starting to add in a few more details, some more sort of individual strands with the eraser and with the pencil to create just a little more volume and body in the curls. And we're at the point now where we could finish up with our details, and we could push it further if we wanted, or we could leave it like this. So there's some finished wavy hair. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.